Yeah.
I love my HBCU. And boy, I love it, love it. I love it, love it. I love my HBCU. And man, I hope my team they won one. I hope my team they won one.
Yeah, man.
I hope my team they won one. I hope my team they won one. I tune into the HBCU Sports Lab to see if my team won or lost. If they lost, I'm quiet as a mouse. But if they won, keep tab. I'ma do the dab, yeah. Dr. Cavil, he know what he be talking about. Mike and Charles, they know what they be talking about. They compress the analytic data with this hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they won or lost, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
And welcome in. It is another Tuesday here on Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Charles Bishop, AD Drew, and welcome. We finally got her on the platform. One of the most talented individuals in the game, Symone Stanley. Welcome in.
What's up? Thanks y'all for having me.
No doubt. AD Drew, what's going on, my brother?
What's going on, everybody? Long time no see. It seemed just like yesterday we was all in the same media room there in Atlanta, Georgia.
I know it has been a long season. We've gone through every sport for the most part. Still got a little bit of track and field left to go. We'll get into a little bit of that, but it has been a tremendous HBCU sports calendar year, if you will. We had another exciting championship game. We're going to get an opportunity to talk to Coach Davin, Pierre, and his Grambling State, head coach of the Grambling State Tigers baseball team as they get ready for the regionals. But, man, before we even got into the preamble of the day, just what are your thoughts on some of what we've seen thus far this year?
Ladies first.
We've seen, if we just hitting on the baseball tournament or just the season as a whole, Grambling, man, they were the underdogs in the basketball tournament. They go on to the field. What's the first round called in?
The regionals.
First four.
The first four.
Mm-hmm.
Get a win there. They have everybody talking about Grambling. Then on the baseball field, they were under the radar team for a lot of people. A lot of people thought FAMU was going to run it back, but that Graham fam, the G-men, they got something special going on right now. So yes, Grambling just been the talk of the town.
They have been that. 80.
If we're going to stick on the SWAC, and I'll kind of go over the entire season because I know we're going to get into the Commissioner's Cup a little bit later. But you've got the blue bloods of the SWAC establishing themselves throughout the various programs. You said we've got Grambling, we've got Jackson State back in volleyball, Jackson State in basketball on the women's side. So you've got the blue bloods reestablishing themselves. You've got the new blood, which I like to call Alabama State is still the new blood, is one of the younger members as far as tenure in the Southwestern Athletic Conference. And then you got the fresh blood trying to establish their foot with Florida A&M competing and winning its fair share of championships. So if you're just talking about SWAC specific, it's kind of a butting of heads, a crossing of roads between the blue bloods, the Jackson States, the Gramblings, and people such as that, the Southerns, versus the newer blood, which I would consider your Alabama States, your Alabama A&Ms, and then the fresh blood being the Bethune-Cookman and the Florida A&M.
Interesting mix that you throw in there. Wanted to start things out, man. Welcome into episode 512 of Inside the HBCU Sports Lab, radio show and podcast show that's covering the HBCU sport and diaspora and all things HBCU sports for institutions large and small, from the NAIA to the NCAA. We share insights and information on the HBCU sports culture and HBCU athletic aesthetics to facilitate the story of HBCU athletic programs and the business of HBCU sports. I'm Charles Bishop, of course, with my co-host today, AD Drew and Symone Stanley, and we are filming from our home studios and sending a signal live to our KCOH 1230 AM studios with the Texas Radio Hall of Famer Ralph Cooper in the beautiful home of Texas Southern University in Houston, Texas. And with that, AD Drew, you touched on it, Alabama State. Big news coming today with regards to the Alabama State Hornets.
Yeah, big news coming for Alabama State, and I will see if let me pull it up so I can read it word for word because I don't want to jumble this up. But long story short, Alabama State has won the SWAC Commissioners Cup and took two of the three major major season trophies for the Southwestern Athletic Conference. This comes from the SWAC office in Birmingham, Alabama. The Alabama State University Athletics Department claimed two of the three Southwestern Athletic Conference 2023-2024 All Sports Awards, winning the James Franklin Commissioners Cup and the Sadie Maggie Barbara Jacket Award. That is so hard to say without stumbling on your words for the second consecutive year. And then kudos to Texas Southern, Charles, where you are at right now.
Mm-hmm.
They claimed the C.D. Henry Award to round out the list of institutional uh, award winners. Alabama State claimed the James Frank Commissioners Cup after amassing 154.8 total points. Jackson State came in second at 141.8, and Prairie View came in third at 138.5. And for those who do not know, that is the All Sports Award for both men and women combined, for those who do not know what that is for. Alabama State also claimed the Sadie Maggie Barbara Jacket Award, which is the women's award only, with 92.8 points in the women's final stand. Florida A&M, shout out to my Rattlers, finished second, 82.8, and Jackson State third, 79.3. Texas Southern won the C.D. Henry Award, which is the men's equivalent, for the first time since 2014-2015, accumulating 67.5 points. In sponsor sports, Jackson State second, 62.5, and Prairie View third. Actually, Jackson State and Prairie View tied, both up with 62.5 points.
So, and Symone, you've been covering HBCU sports all throughout the course of your sports in general, to be honest. But I mean, when you talk about the strength of Alabama State's program to win not only the Commissioner's Cup, but the Sadie McGee Barbara Jacket Award as well on the women's side, that speaks a lot about their athletic program in general, correct?
Absolutely. And we've seen over the past couple of years just how strong they have been across all of their sports. They're always in the conversation. Just 3 years ago, they were the ones hoisting that baseball trophy. They always keep it tough on the football field. So they're one of them programs that's always going to consistently be in the mix. And that's what you want to be, in the mix.
You want to be in the mix, and want to give a huge shout out to Dr. Kevin Granger, Texas Southern, winning the C.D. Henry Award with regards to accumulating the points on the men's team. So I definitely want to, salute both programs with regards to Alabama State and Texas Southern going forward. These end of the year awards, they mean something, especially with regards to these athletic directors and the way they go about cultivating not only the talent but the coaches at their respective programs.
I definitely agree with that. And while we tend to focus a lot of our attention on football, basketball, and baseball, which Alabama State was competitive in, they were racking up championships in other areas such as tennis, such as bowling, golf, women's soccer, etc. Those sports that kind of go under the radar. But shout out to Dr. Jason Cable for making sure that those sports get the fair share of attention, while we were all worried about who's going to be the SWAC representative in the Celebration Bowl. They over there coming in second place in volleyball and winning indoor track, winning outdoor track, etc., just accumulating these points, which put them into the position to which they were able to take home this award.
No doubt. Keep going around with some HBCU news and notes. North Carolina A&T and Howard, their relay teams, they raised the bar at the NCAA Track and Field Championships. Definitely want to give kudos to both North Carolina A&T and Howard. But Howard women's 4x100 relay team, Ayana Gray Williams, Mackenzie Robinson, Khalil Collins, Tiffany Ray Pittman, and Sherry Ann Norton. Anaya Woodruff. All women will be moving on to compete for the outdoor championship in Eugene. And get this, the Bison's 4x100 relay team punched this ticket on an automatic bid, running a 43.55 time in the quarterfinals and finishing third in their heat. That's huge with regards to what we're seeing on the track and field. But we've seen this before with regards to A&T, but now you get a little bit of Howard in the mix, Symone.
Yeah, I hear a lot of ladies. Okay. But for real, we always hear about, North Carolina A&T the past couple of years when it comes to that track and field program, when we get to the postseason. And they were kind of like the team, the HBCU family all had to rally behind. But now we add another team into the mix, Howard University. So again, you talk about those non-traditional sports. We know Howard has been doing it with the volleyball. They launched the swim team, and now track and field is taking off too.
No doubt about it. Track and field taking off. I also wanted to mention Simone Watkins, 400-meter hurdles. Is the only HBCU women's athlete to make it past the first round to the Division I championship semifinals. This is the third year that Howard's women's 400-meter hurdler will compete in the NCAA championships. Jessica Wright did it the past couple of years. And then on the men's side, we've been talking about Grambling, but Jet Brown, he qualifies for the Grambling State Tigers, one of 3 men's field event qualifiers, the SWAC long jump champion. James Brown will have a chance to compete for the national title. So shout out to these track and field athletes with regards to moving on to the nationals. Anything can happen. You get to nationals, you catch a good, whatever, win, whatever it is, whatever it takes.
Or I hate to say it, somebody don't hit their board right. They either a foot behind the board or 1 inch over the board, and now we got an HBCU long jump champion.
No doubt about it. So a lot of good news and notes going on in regards to HBCU sports. Man, AD, while, you take a look at it and I think we started talking a little bit about it at the baseball tournament. It's been a banner year. And as we go through this calendar year, pivot back towards it, we've had a lot of great things to cover and whatnot. And really, you see performances continuing to get stronger as we go through the year.
Yeah, definitely. We've seen it from the SIAC to the CIAA and, into, the BIAC and the SWAC. And even with our independents, we've seen a lot of different things that have gone on. I mean, we saw the highest of the highs with Benedict, if you want to go all the way back, Benedict in football going undefeated, and then the lowest of the lows the next week when they just got mollywopped in the first round of the playoffs. We saw the SWAC finally break through in the cricket celebration bowl, and that was such a weight, it seemed like, off the shoulders of Dr. Charles McClellan that he was finally able to break through. Another first four victory in the NCAA tournament on the men's side, and then we see, our greatest victory became one of our most heartbreaking losses with Jackson State on the women's side, doing what they did, going undefeated, which in itself, I don't care what sport it is, when you go through a season undefeated and into the tournament and win the tournament undefeated, that's a feat in itself. And then we saw the reward of somebody finally recognizing that we could coach on this level, and giving a coach who has had ultimate success on this level, giving her the opportunity to do it at what is perceived a higher level. So, just a lot of different things that have gone on that I have really enjoyed this season.
And now where do we pivot? We get ready to we got media days coming up in July. I know for me as a gamer, when this NCAA EA Sports, when this game comes out, woo!
Charles, you're not back in the dorms, man.
Yeah.
You just can't invite everybody over to your room and get on the sticks, man.
Man, when we
stick this 21-point rule still apply?
Hey, 21 points still applies. It still applies. You got to come off the sticks if somebody put 21 points up on you. Symone, any thoughts in regards turning back toward the calendar year?
No, like you said, it's a lot of changes going into this next football season. Media days is going to be exciting. We wrapping up, the last of the sports with track and field, and then it's going to be right back into football. We're going to have a month of rest in June, and we're right back into it.
There you go. We'll take a quick break here on Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. We'll come back, and we'll talk a little bit about this SWAC baseball tournament. We'll be right back here on Inside the HBCU Sports Lab.
Since 2002, Empowerment Resources, Inc., a nonprofit organization, has empowered more than 1,500 youth and adults in Duval and surrounding counties through its programs Journey into Womanhood, Girls Mentoring, Life Skills for Teens, and Parenting Education Coaching. To get involved with programs, volunteer, or donate, visit www.empowermentresourcesinc.org. Follow us on social media, facebook.com/empowerment.resources and instagram.com/empowermentJAX.
The human voice has always connected audiences with experiences. Major brands all across America have trusted Kever's voice time and time again. Conversational, powerhouse, intelligent, and sincere. That's the voice you need for your creative marketing process. KEAVERSVOICE.com. Kever's Voice, Kever's Voice, KeversVoice.com. Always on, all the time.
Nope.
Come on, him.
Ooh, I like him.
Quick, the quicker picker-upper. Bounty picks up messes quicker, and each sheet is 2 times more absorbent, so you can use less.
He's an 8.
He's a 9.
Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
From novice to aficionado, find yourself here. High quality cigars plus personal customer service. Slow Burn is Waco's only mobile cigar lounge, featuring a meticulous, curated collection of premium cigars. Visit our website, www.slowburnwaco.com. That's www.slowburnwaco.com.
Compress the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they want a lot, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
Welcome back into the Sports Lab. And 2024 SWAC Baseball Championship is in the books. Tremendous tournament. You take your hats off to the Grambling State Tigers for what they were able to get done. I know we were all there covering. Symone had the great pleasure of working with you doing sideline as well as doing a little bit of play-by-play. But I'm going to start with you, Symone. Just what were your overall general thoughts, and were there things that you immediately come to mind when looking back at this tournament?
I just think overall it was so exciting. It was so much fun. We talked about it, Charles. All the games, they brought a different flavor. We got a little bit of everything in each game. And, we had some long days. I don't know how early you were up, but I was getting up at the buzzer. I was getting there at game time. So for me, your day probably started at 8. My day was starting at 8:50.
8:59.
8:59 to about 10:30, 11 p.m. All day in the Atlanta heat. But the excitement and the adrenaline of the games really kept us into it. It was just a lot of fun. A lot of talent, a lot of big plays. We talked so much about like the work in the outfield, like just some big catches and big plays were made this past week. A lot of jaw dropping, So yeah. I feel like I was thoroughly entertained. We talked about last year. We talked about it briefly on the broadcast. 3 HBCU players were drafted last year to the MLB. This year, I can see those numbers going up at least 5.
Yeah, and that was the thing that jumps out at me. We saw a lot of really good talent in this baseball tournament, AD. They were like Symone said, there were a lot of big catches, a lot of breathtaking plays that you saw via offensively or defensively. What stood out for you?
Cam Buford.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Cam, do not pitch to him, Buford. And if you watch the
I think every FAMU fan is sitting back like, why did we pitch to him?
Oh, and
Wait,
not
you
only
said
that,
it on the call, Charles. You said it. You said, "Do you think they're going to walk him here?" Boom, home run.
not only that, Symone, you had to be upstairs to understand that conversation was going on upstairs while I think you were on the play-by-play at that point in time. You were down on the field, Symone, and everybody was like, "Please put him on. Please put him on." And not just FAMU, but every time it seemed like there was a big RBI opportunity with Buford at the plate, he came through. And if he didn't come through offensively, he came through with his glove, because we talk about his offense, but he played a hell of a third base. But there was one other person who no doubt, if FAMU gets to the championship game and win it, Ty Jackson is the MVP also. And you talk about 5 people should be drafted. Those 2 should be at the top of the list, Symone. Both of them are out of eligibility. Those 2 definitely should be drafted. But I do have a question for both of you guys. You guys were doing sideline reporting. I know this happens because I've been down there. What was that one nugget that y'all got that y'all just couldn't get into the broadcast that you really wanted to bring out, but it actually never presented the opportunity
Charles
to bring out while you guys was down there?
I had gave them a whole story, and me and Charles kind of in line sight. I gave them a whole story, didn't get a follow-up. And I was like, "Could you hear me, Charles?" Because I felt like it was a good story, but they didn't say anything. They didn't respond. He was like, "Yeah, I heard you." I was like, but it was for me, it was Kyle Walker and Julian Thomas talking about being superstitious as teammates. And Coach Pierre was saying those are the 2 players that are the leaders in the dugout. And they were just saying how they're so superstitious. Like if they lose a game, then they might switch beds in their hotel room, or one would take the shower first instead of the other. So, I'm giving this story, delivering this story. Cricket.
What about you, Chuck?
When I go back and I take a look at it, these baseball coaches, they pick up on every little thing. So they were tracking where Symone was in regards to, we talk about superstition. So you go up and try to get little notes and nuggets before the game starts. It's like, which dugout is Symone gonna be on? So just so that's little stuff.
That was the running joke throughout the whole.
And as we talk about that running joke, I told Coach Pierre, I was like, they saying I'm jinxed or whatever, and he like, I'm not worried about a jinx. We Grambling, we win it. See?
Yeah, that's a good point.
To all the other coaches that didn't want me near.
I thought that was hilarious, but to your question, AD, there are so many things, and I think it was great that Symone and I had enough rapport with the coaches where they felt really comfortable talking to us, even when we're not going to them, but just what jumps out at me is the way they would talk to you during the course of the game in terms of strategy and where they're looking at somebody up or down the lineup. So it colored how they would pitch a certain person or whatever the case might be. And, they just felt very comfortable talking to us. So, and I did want to shout out, to the production crew, did a tremendous job this past weekend. A lot of replays. We saw a lot of replays, a lot of umps going, where coaches wanted to see, whether that bang bang play was an out or a safe. But the production crew, James Crenshaw and his cameramen and camerawomen, they did a tremendous job of capturing that action. And you could go back and take a look and see whether he was safe or out. So I definitely wanted to mention James in terms of the work that they did. And, first in, last out, that's how they were. So they did a tremendous job.
And I almost want to say, I really think Crenshaw's production may have been better than the ESPN production on Sunday when ESPN took it over. And I'm not going to lie to you. I went back and watched the replay of Sunday's game, and I missed you 2 guys being down there, picking up stuff and relaying it back up to the press box on Sunday, which the ESPN crew did not have. But shout out to Jay Walker. I almost like Jay Walker better as a play-by-play and color analyst for baseball than I do for football, because he did a tremendous job for somebody who you stereotype as football player, quarterback. Very knowledgeable of the game of baseball, which a lot of us know that he did grow up playing baseball also.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. And definitely, I think SWAC Digital, in terms of what they're trying to do, in terms of trying to give fans that insight, very appreciative for them giving the opportunity, not only for play-by-play, but to do some sideline work and try to give the fans a little bit more insight into what the coaches were thinking during the course of the game. Well, what do you think, Symone?
Yeah, like we said, it was a lot of fun. Someone said, I wish they would let us comment during the game. Actually, I appreciate that we don't have comments, because, they would be coming at us. Why did she say that? Why did she pronounce it like that? So just from a broadcast standpoint, it's honestly a little bit better that we not reading comments in real time, because it's just like, dang, did I say that? Dang, am I too loud? But just going back to what Drew was saying about the talent. But yes, overall, the camera crew, they're just such great people. They're always, they're in the heat too. They're sitting in the heat. They're having the long days like we're having, and they have more of a harder job, in my opinion, because they have to be locked in the entire time on the play. And they always just upbeat, always have great personalities, always so helpful for us as sideline, making sure we get our hits in, making sure we're good and our equipment is good. Sure. So yes, the entire Woodlawn Entertainment team and James Crenshaw, amazing group. But going back to what you were saying, Drew, about the talent, the thing that stood out is like Ty Jackson and Cam Buford, like just in any sport and on any level, when your stars can show up in those big moments, like that is so crucial, because we see all the time, you have your regular season players. And again, this is in any sport and on any level, but when it's crunch time, when it's time to be clutch, sometimes those players disappear. But when Ty Jackson, when FAMU needed him the most, he was always that spark plug. And just him coming out to his at-bats, you could just feel the energy on the FAMU team change, because they had that confidence in him, knowing that he's going to make those big plays. Same with Cam Buford. Like when Cam Buford was at his at-bats, you could just feel the energy of the dugout, having that confidence in him. And like you said, it was like any given moment, boom, hit, boom, triple, boom, home run when the team needed it the most.
Yeah. I was going to ask you guys one other question. What about almost the biggest shock of the tournament, that Texas Southern, despite winning the West, was 2 in barbecue? What did y'all think about that?
And I think
what you say? They was what?
2
in barbecue.
I never heard.
And I think that's a very legitimate question, AD, because that was something, although we have a SWAC West team that won it all, but 3 out of the final 4 that were left were from the SWAC East. And it does sort of create this question, in terms of where is the dominance with regards to SWAC baseball? Does it sit on the east side or does it sit on the west side? Last year, FAMU was able to come from the SWAC East, and this year, Grambling fought back from the abyss to win it all.
Yeah. Charles, you are underselling that SWAC East versus SWAC West. And the reason I'm saying that is because every win that the SWAC West picked up against the East was by Grambling.
That's an interesting nugget. Nugget. Wow.
Yes.
Wait, repeat that.
Every win from the SWAC West against the SWAC East was by Grambling.
So Grambling was the only team to beat a team in the East.
Yes.
Okay. See, for the people that's delayed, for the people that's a little slow, that's
that's very.
But that is very interesting, though.
Yeah, I mean, I have it pulled up. I mean, you start looking back at Wednesday. Jackson State knocks off Texas Southern 17-4. Bethune-Cookman knocks off Prairie View 16-1. Grambling with the win over Alabama State 6-3. Then you have FAM. They knock off Southern 8-5. That's going back to Wednesday. On Thursday, you got a West versus West matchup. Texas Southern knocks off Prairie View. But then to your point, AD, Alabama State, they take out Southern. Then you have an East-East matchup, and then the next East v West matchup is Florida A&M versus Grambling. This was, I think, the game. Florida A&M knocks off Grambling. Yeah, 17-7. but it's the next day in the elimination game that I think turned everything around with regards to Grambling. We joked about it.
Turning it around.
The rain.
The rain.
Symone said, "Wash your sins away." So it was.
They said it. They said during that rain delay, they had a come to they one of the players legitimately said a come to Jesus meeting. In the rain, like, we don't want to go home. We don't want this to be it. And we saw after they came out that rain, they were a totally different team. You know, they were playing from behind in most of the games, and then they became the front runners, jumping out early. So I don't know what was in that rain, y'all. I don't know.
That was holy water.
I was about to say it was healing, whatever it was, in terms of what Grambling was able to do. But it was a game against Alabama State. They knock off Alabama State 11-10. And especially when you take a look at the type of program that Alabama State has been over the past X number of years, that was a huge win for Grambling to take down a SWAC East opponent. Not just any SWAC East opponent, but you're talking about a perennial contender when you're talking about Alabama State.
Yeah. Not only that, Charles, I want you to think about it. Those last, 3-4 victories Grambling had were all come from behind victories. And I believe they were all like one-run victories, which really shows to the grit of Grambling, because everybody upstairs, at least, was waiting on Grambling to run out of pitching. Everybody was waiting on Grambling to run out of pitching. And it never happened. They would get close, but somebody would throw the right pitch. You get the pop up, or you get the strikeout, or you get the ground ball, or whatever, and Grambling would get out of an inning. And then they would come. I mean, if y'all haven't seen the last 2 innings of that championship game, that's all you need to watch. Go watch the last 2 innings of the championship game, and you saw how these two teams were going back and forth. Grambling just happened to have the last at bat and came off with the miracle with the execution. You know, I don't want to say lack of execution by Jackson State or by Grambling, because both of them failed on some plays during those last 2 innings. But I think that was due to the pressure that the other team was putting on them more than them just messing up, if I'm making sense when I say that.
No, that makes total sense.
But yeah, the Grambling program, this team, they have that belief. And when you talk about confidence and belief, I feel like that's underrated. Like, this is the first time I have really seen a team that really believed they was going to win those games. Like, it wasn't just like, okay, y'all, it wasn't just going through the motions. When they was down 8 or 6, it wasn't just going through the motions. They really believed they were going to win that game. And I talked to Kyle Walker before their very first game. I believe it was during one team was getting blown out while they were warming up. I want to say it was Texas Southern or Bethune-Cookman. And I was like, what is y'all mindset when you're in a game and you're getting blown out like this? And they were like, it's never over till it's over. It's never over till it's over. Like, they literally believed that. Then when they were down to who's the team they had the comeback win against? Was it FAMU?
Pick one. FAMU. Jackson State. I mean, it's like whoever they beat, they had to come back from behind.
When they were in the losers bracket and they was behind, was it FAM?
Alabama State.
It might have been Alabama State.
It might have been
Alabama State and FAMU. They came from behind on.
But they were down like 6 runs late in the game. And I was just talking to Coach Pierre. This was not a hot mic or anything. And I was like, who's pitching tomorrow? He was like, tomorrow we winning this game tonight. Like, this wasn't like no players were in earshot or nothing. Like, this was him really believing in the team. Like, so they're a team that just would not lay down. They're not a team that's going to lay down. So when we talk about a team going into this postseason, going into the College World Series against a heavy hitter like Texas A&M, they are the team I feel like that had the best mindset to go up against a heavy hitter like that, because they're always going to believe they're in the game. They're never going to feel like they're out talented or that they're out of the game. So I expect a good one against Texas A&M.
No doubt. Well, let's take a quick break and let's bring back in the man of the hour, Coach Davin, Pierre of the Grambling State Tigers. We'll be right back here on Inside the HBCU Sports Lab.
If you think all pads are exactly the same, think again. This is Always Ultra Thins reinvented with the Always Triple Protection System. This pad wicks gushes 90% faster, absorbs even more so you can feel dry, and locks odors in. Rethink your pad for up to 100% leak-free and odor-free comfort with the totally reinvented Always Ultra Thins. This is always like never before.
The Cavil Group is a Florida-based marketing and training consulting firm. We help businesses communicate to their target audience and engage them in conversation. We also help to expand their audiences, which will ultimately result in growth for those organizations. In addition to being a certified constant contact specialist, my colleagues and I are also certified in John Maxwell Leadership Principles. We use these proven principles to conduct workshops, training, and private coaching sessions for individuals and companies looking to take things to the next level. Contact us to schedule a free consultation. Issues today, don't delay, call Cavil.
As technology continues to bring changes to the world of education, it's time we also reimagine teacher professional development. Gone are the days of one-size-fits-all learning that can only be accessed at a specific time and place. The Stride PD Center is an on-demand library of mobile-friendly courses that allow educators to learn anytime and anywhere. Our dynamic courses provide bite-sized learning and help educators advance their knowledge while also gaining professional development hours. The best professional development plans are those that include a level of flexibility and choice for educators. Whether you're a teacher, school, or district, visit us today to take charge of your learning.
Compress the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they wanna lose, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
Welcome back in to Inside the HBCU Sports Lab, and of course, you got to welcome in Coach Davin, Pierre. I mean, Coach,
how we doing?
Go. There you go. You can put it up.
How we doing? I'm spending some time with somebody who is just so dear to me right now.
Well deserved. Congratulations, Coach. I got a text right after the game, and my guy said I had to double up on my blood pressure medicine watching Grambling. Tremendous tournament. I mean, what has it felt like in the days after knowing that you've hosted that trophy?
I mean, it's an amazing feeling. I think it's different from me. I was a part of the championship team in 2010 as well as an assistant coach, and we took over a team for Barrett Ray who had left the year prior to it. So, we were able to kind of win a championship, but those wasn't our guys. You know what I mean? So, building a team and putting it together and and put your stamp on it makes it a whole lot sweeter. And then being a alumni of the program and also being alumni of the school and doing it for Coach Ellis was big for us, man. We on cloud nine here. You know what I mean? So, it's huge to win a championship, definitely in the fashion that we won it. And so I'm excited about it.
First championship since 2010, and you talk about Coach Wilbert Ellis and the history of Grambling baseball. To add more hardware in this 2024 year, what does that mean to the Grambling baseball program?
I think it shows that, man, we're up and coming. Grambling has always been really good in all its athletic programs, but I think we're turning the tide, as you've seen in basketball what we did, in women's basketball what we did, and now we have a new coach in Mickey Joseph who I think is going to do extremely well. I think we're showing people, not only in the HBCU culture, but across the country that, man, we're not just a football school. We're serious about athletics here. And I think that's what that shows when our kids go out and play at the level that they played at, that Grambling is a legitimate, that I think right now the best HBCU baseball program in the country.
No doubt. Turn things over to Symone. Go for it.
Coach, what was the mindset, the reaction from the team after drawing Texas A&M?
obviously we seen the bracket. You know, we're excited to be a part of postseason play, but that bracket is probably the toughest bracket in the regional. You know, having us, Texas, UL, and obviously the number 3 seed in the country there. But listen, you know, we understand the task at hand, and this is an opportunity for us to kind of earn some respect. Guys like Cam Buford, Kyle Walker, Phillip Bryant, Jose Vargas, Tiger Borum, Javier Martinez, even Mason Martinez. Like, all these guys have an opportunity to go out and not only just show the world, but also show professional scouts that, like, we can play at this level. And, that's what it is. You're playing against some of the best in the country. Nobody's going to be anybody that's going to be somebody you can run over. So, we're going to be ready to play. We're going to be ready to compete. And then we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. For us, and, we have 6, I think, Louisiana teams in the NCAA bracket, but we played Tulane, we played Nicholls State, we played LSU, and we played UL. So we're more than ready for being in environments like this, and we belong there, man. We Grambling.
What was it like watching Cameron Buford in this tournament? It seemed like every time the team needed a big play, he was there. And just knowing how his game has developed and it transferring over to the postseason in those clutch moments like that.
Man, watching Cam is like, I don't know, man. It's so refreshing for me because recruiting that kid and seeing a little skinny 6'4" kid develop into, I call him Mufasa now. When he first got to Grambling, I call him Simba. Like, he was Simba. And everybody know how much I love Cam Buford. And to see him, I knew it was some times where he was going to have to put us on his back. And he did. Man, when you hit, look, what he did in the tournament, and not just Cam Buford, what him and Mason did in this tournament is exceptional. And it's crazy. I think Mason might have pitched 17 innings in this tournament. So what they did and how they carried us, man, and all those other guys filled in and chipped in was essential. But Cam Buford is arguably the best player to ever come through Grambling State University in baseball. I know there are going to be some guys that are going to probably, get mad at that, but I ain't talking about professional career. You got your Ralph Gars, you got your Lenny Websters, you got your Gerald Williams. All those guys are great professionals. But when we talking about when we start to talk about numbers statistically, and that kid being there as long as he's been at Grambling, leading home run hitter, 200 plus RBIs, 200 plus hits, career average of 330 to 340. There's not a lot of people better than him.
Wow.
And, arguably that number is probably going to be retired. I don't know how soon it will be, but he's definitely a Grambling legend.
Tonight. Y'all can retire it tonight. I'm just kidding. But were you surprised that FAMU didn't walk Cam?
I was surprised. I was extremely surprised at that. I didn't know what the tactic was or whatnot, but, I was told by some wise people that you don't let the best player on the field beat you. Yeah. And that's what they did. So I don't know, hindsight is always 20/20. I guess they figure they had a game plan or, a scout report. But, heart, will, desire, that beats scout report any day.
AD, go for it, man.
It hurts me that y'all talk about.
Yeah, he going through it right now.
He's a rattler.
He's a rattler. Yeah, he's a rattler.
I'm a rattler. I'm a rattler to the heart. But y'all earned it there, Coach Pierre.
You don't sound too kind. Y'all earned it.
No, they know we earned it.
I gotta give them credit.
Tough side of the bracket that we were on, man. We were on the tough side of the bracket. I think when you look at it statistically, us, Alabama State, and FAMU were the best offenses in the conference. Mm-hmm. So, when you look at it like that, obviously their pitching numbers were better than ours, but I thought we defended better than both. But at the same time, Cam Buford, he did it against Alabama State as well. So, hindsight always 20/20. But man, I'm glad they did pitch to him.
Well, that makes one of us.
But we talk about. Go ahead, Eddie.
I was gonna say, seriously, Coach. I had said this actually during the pregame show that we did there from the stadium on Sunday. Southern for SWAC baseball, like the New York Yankees. They've got all the titles. They've got all the prestige. Jackson State is like the St. Louis Cardinals. They're the second most winningest team when it comes to baseball in the SWAC. I compared you guys to the Dodgers. You know, y'all that other blue blood that decides that they want to get into the mix and win some. It's been a while, but congratulations on getting there. I want to get into your pitching coach, and let's be real. And I don't know if you heard it before you came on.
Okay.
Everybody was saying and waiting on Grambling to run out of pitching, but that never happened. You know, especially considering you had to play an additional game that Jackson State did not have to play to get to Sunday. So, Coach, tell us how you put together and piece together your pitch, especially with the doubleheader on Friday, and then going in. Then you had Saturday's if game, and then going into Sunday.
Yeah, I think, you know, hats goes off to Coach Perez for doing an extremely good job of, you know, managing them guys and making sure those guys were ready. We talked about it, man. Like, listen, what people don't understand, and I'm telling you guys this. You know, we had 5 arms that were injured. And out of them 5 arms that were injured, 2 of those arms in Randy Reyes, who I thought was the best pitcher in the conference. And then Ethan Bates, who was our sidearm lefty. Both of those guys were injured. Like, we didn't have them. So we came to the tournament with 10 arms. That's all we had. So those guys knew that we had to be tough. And we talked about it. We said, man, toughness is going to win the tournament. You know, when you get to SWAC competition, we talk about SWAC competition, man, you know, it's going to be about toughness. You got to overcome the umpiring. You got to overcome, you know, the elements. Yeah, you got to overcome some of the other team talking. Like, you just had to be tough. So we knew that. We had to be tough. And I'm telling you, man, them guys, Javi Martinez, Philip Bryant, Mason Martinez, Miguel Baez, who those guys pitched majority of the innings, those guys were tough. And then guys like Newman filled in, Brett Washington filled in, Esteban filled in and held it down for him. You know, so, you know, they just, what happened with us this week, or that weekend, was they decided to come together and fight for each other. And that's why we won. And, you know, when a guy come off the mound, bases loaded, he said, man, I got you. I'm picking you up right here. And we had that situation. We had that situation a few times. So, you know, but hats off to Coach Perez, man. Coach Perez did a tremendous job of calling the game, keeping guys off balance, making quality pitches. And then, you know, we did a good job of getting a guy off the mound and getting the ball to another guy who was able to get it done.
Coach, let me pivot back to something real quick, AD. And you mentioned 2 names, Javier Martinez and Phil Bryant. And to me, there's always a pitcher or 2 who can sort of stem the tide or hold the fort until the bats get back up there. And those 2 guys really stood out to me in terms of just you putting the ball in their hands. And I was always curious where they were with regards to how much they had left, if they had another 30 pitches, another 40 pitches in their arms. But Phil Bryant in particular, you gave the ball to him twice late in elimination sort of settings, and he was able to stem the tide. Talk a little bit about just the mentality that he brought to the tournament. Man,
he's a kid from Little Rock, Arkansas. You know, the environment that he grew up in was very, very tough. So, you know, we were tired. There's no doubt about it. I'm not going to sit up here and say that these guys had another 2 innings in them. Javi was gassed. You know, Philip was gassed. You know, when Mason brought us as far as he could, he was gassed. Them guys just pitched on their heart, man, and their will to fight for each other. And that's what the big thing was, man. You know, they knew they had to come out the pen to be able to do some work. You know, and I told them, you know, I said, hey, man, listen. You know, Javi Martinez is a senior, but he can return next year. Philip is a senior. Miguel is a senior. You know, Mason is a JUCO guy that was here last year and understood, you know, what we were trying to do. And I was going to lose it with them guys. I told him, man, listen, man, you know, if I got to lose a championship game, I'm going to lose it with the guys who got me here. And they were up for the challenge. You know, Javi had his head down, you know, after he gave up the walk on what I thought was a strikeout pitch.
Everybody knows
you know, so he was hurt behind that. But them kids was tough, man. Our pitcher staff was tough, and what helped us, man, was, you know, not in the championship game, But man, we were really good offensively throughout that tournament. Was really good
Yes.
offensively throughout that tournament.
Yes, you were.
No
Yes,
doubt.
you were. Hey, Coach, let me ask you this. There's divisional play is supposed to be going away next year. I'm not going to ask you to talk about next year yet, but I am going to bring that up in this context. Did it help you, the fact that you had seen a Florida A&M already this year? You had already seen Jackson State, two of your opponents from the East that you traditionally do not see based on the current SWAC schedule model. Did that help you in the tournament, the fact that you had played two of the three opponents that were in your bracket throughout the regular season?
Absolutely. And for us, sometimes it's by design. Obviously, we know we're in that the Ralph Guard Lucas Classic with FAMU, and I don't know how that maneuvers now because we playing everybody now. We'll have to see. But playing Alabama State in Vero Beach, and obviously playing Southern throughout the year now, and then playing Jackson State. Look, we had played almost everybody there besides A&M, and we didn't get a chance to play Bethune-Cookman, but we played the Alcorn at Smith-Will, and I don't know what's up with their field, but something was also up with Mississippi Valley Field, and Bethune was down, so we was playing after them, so we got a chance to see them as well. But yeah, that was essential for us to get a chance to be in the ring with them, to kind of see where we matched up at, because we knew we knew we were going to be one of the better teams in the West. We knew that. We knew the West came through us, but we did know that the East is a really, really good side of the conference, and we needed to get a chance to see them. So we went in the extra inning game with Jack. We played Jackson 2 times. We didn't get a chance to play him in Grambling. And then we played FAMU about 5 or 6 times, and then obviously playing Alabama
3
State.
and 3.
So, yeah, so we felt really good about that. We felt really, really good about playing them early.
Yeah. Well, Coach, I want to say you did a tremendous job this tournament. I really appreciate the access that you gave to Symone and myself. Even listening to you talking me through strategy in terms of what things you were taking a look at. Just really appreciative of the access that you gave SWAC Digital and the rapport we built up during the course of the tournament. It was really fascinating to try to convey that to the fans who were watching the game.
Yeah, I appreciate that, and I think that's one of the reasons why I wanted to do that, man, because I think the access to the game for us is essential. Obviously, football and basketball get a lot of coverage, and I think baseball is one of the sports that we have in the SWAC that not only has a chance to be good in the conference, but we can go into those bigger Division Ones and get a chance to win. You seen it this year with Southern beating LSU, and you seen it this year. I think Alabama State beat Auburn. So
Bethune-Cookman over Miami too.
Yeah, and so I feel like sometimes baseball, we get the backburner at times, but I think that we play a really good brand of baseball, really good coaches in our league, really good recruiters in our league, really good talent in our league. That's probably one of the best tournaments I've been a part of. And let me say this to the Rattler, man, FAMU, man, y'all, that's a good baseball team. That was a good baseball team we played against, and you seen that at the end of the game with the respect factor of our guys hugging guys and dapping up, because we knew, like, man, that was a challenge for us. That was a challenge for us. Not to say that Jackson wasn't, but man, FAMU, that Ty Jackson, man, that kid there, man, is leader of leaders, man. So they have some really good players. So, we felt like once we got through that, man, we was gonna be good.
So is it a rivalry now? Because you said no, but a few of your players said it's a rivalry versus FAMU.
Listen, my players are young and they don't know a lot. You know what I mean? They're young and they don't know a lot, man. There's only one rival for Grambling, and that's Southern. No, there's no knock to FAMU, because FAMU got a really good baseball program, but we only got one rival, and that's Southern. And so although we go play Jackson State hard and FAMU hard, but man, a rivalry is somebody that you really got a dislike for, and we don't like whatever color they have, whether it's powder blue, navy blue, whatever color. Our rival is Southern, but there is starting to something to brew between us and FAMU, especially when you're talking about baseball.
I can't speak for the FAMU players, Coach, but I can speak for the FAMU fans. You have quickly become a baseball rival for the Rattlers.
That's what I'm saying. Everybody is saying it.
I'm telling you, from a fan point of view, y'all are getting about the level that Southern is for us. I just want you to know.
In baseball, like Take football, take basketball out of it.
Baseball,
it's given rivalry.
Okay, well, maybe I'll begin to get that feeling then. Maybe
I'm telling you, your players got up for FAMU. You get up for your rival. Do you not?
No doubt. Now, Symone right now, no doubt. They were up for, like, Spidey Sisters was up for FAMU now. No doubt. Yeah. It was up for FAMU.
And if the schedule guys have you come to Tallahassee next year with the cross-divisional play now, you will find out very quickly. That's all I'm going to tell you, Coach.
There it is, Coach. Well, we'll close out on that, man. Congratulations again. You guys had a gritty performance in the SWAC tournament. And good luck and kudos to you down there with the College Station Regional. But I want to say it was a pleasure covering you.
Man, pleasure, man. We appreciate all y'all do for Black college sports, period, man. Enjoy the coverage, man. Enjoy watching you guys. Wish you much success.
No doubt.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Well, we'll take a quick break and we'll close out on some final thoughts. We'll be right back here on Inside the HBCU Sports Lab.
Itchy, squirmy, scratchy, family not getting clean? Get Charmin Ultra Strong. Go get 'em. It just cleans better. With a diamond weave texture, your family can use less while still getting clean.
Goodbye, itchy squirm.
Hello, clean bottom.
We all go. Why not enjoy the go with Charmin?
At Hampton Law, our primary goal is to provide non-traditional yet effective solutions and redefine the approach to client legal concerns. As your trusted legal advisor, we believe in sophisticated, personalized services that eliminate the confusion and complexity sometimes associated with legal matters. Our high standard for client care and concern, coupled with our extensive legal knowledge and skills, make Hampton Law a resource focused on the protection of the client's interest and overall goals. We value our clients and truly enjoy working with them. Visit thamptonlaw.com to conveniently schedule an appointment online. Tamika Hampton Esquire, 1631 Rock Springs Road, Suite 336, Apopka, Florida, 407-494-1471. thamptonlaw.com.
Nope. Nope.
Come on, him?
Ooh, I like him.
Quick, the quicker picker-upper. Bounty picks up messes quicker, and each sheet is 2 times more absorbent, so you can use less.
He's an 8.
He's a 9.
Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
From novice to aficionado, find yourself here. High quality cigars plus personal customer service. Slow Burn is Waco's only mobile cigar lounge, featuring a meticulous, curated collection of premium cigars. Visit our website, www.slowburnwaco.com. That's www.slowburnwaco.com.
When it comes to professional learning, teachers deserve better. From the leader in online learning, Stride brings you the Stride Professional Development Center, an on-demand library of mobile-friendly courses that gives teachers choice and flexibility, allowing them to learn anytime and anywhere. Our dynamic courses provide bite-sized learning and help educators advance their knowledge while also gaining professional development hours. It's time you take charge of your learning. Visit us today to get started.
Compress the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they wanna lose, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
Well, welcome back into the Sports Lab, and let's get ready to close things out. Symone, we'll start off with you. Final thoughts on this SWAC baseball tournament.
Again, like we said before, a lot of talent. You heard Coach Pierre talking about it, talking about Ty Jackson and there's some of the players they had to play against even just to win the tournament. A great talent on display, a lot of exciting games, just an overall great environment. A lot of former players come in, who live in Atlanta, come in to check out their former teams. So just a lot of familiar faces and just some great baseball and camaraderie.
No doubt. AD?
got three quick thoughts. Two of them tournament related. One of them is baseball related, but not to the tournament. Number one, it was great atmosphere there in Atlanta at Rush Chandler Stadium. We know there's one more year on the contract there in Atlanta. I think the SWAC has found a home for baseball. That they really need to keep that because there was such a family reunion type atmosphere. Bumped into a bunch of people, some people who I knew lived in the Atlanta area who were HBCU alums. I bumped into them at the game. I even bumped into a former player who I used to coach in middle school and high school who was there to watch his friend who played for Jackson State. And he's from Tuskegee. So, just that type of camaraderie that you get there. And you can only get that in a place like in Atlanta. And the reason I say Atlanta is because everybody has a HBCU alumni chapter.
Everybody got somebody in Atlanta. Everybody got somebody.
And it seems like everybody's largest chapter or the second largest chapter is in Atlanta. Yeah. So, people just come out, especially on Friday and Saturday, if your team is in contention. And into Sunday, people tend to come out to the game.
And it's a lot to do in Atlanta. So, you can plan a little trip, a lot to do after the games, before, during the games. And in Midtown, where the games are at, so many restaurants, there's so much to do around there. So it's just a whole full event.
Symone, Chamber of Commerce Stanley. Okay, yeah.
No, it's funny because who said it? Edwin said Drew is just saying that because it's close to him. Yeah, I would love for it to stay here because I'm in Atlanta too.
Except for Friday and Saturday morning when they got was Thursday and Friday morning when they had graduation going on for Atlanta public schools, and if you came in the wrong direction to the stadium, you had to go all the way around and deal with all that traffic. So that's the only bad thing about being there at Rush Chandler Stadium. Other than that, it's all good. The other thing, and this for the SWAC in general, I hope Grambling goes down here to Texas A&M and is able to at least duplicate what Florida A&M did last year by going to the University of Florida and competing and giving University of Florida and UConn a run for their money in their two games, even though they went 0-2. I'm rooting for SWAC now. My green and orange is gone right now. I talk trash for my green and orange, but I'm rooting for SWAC. And for the respect of SWAC baseball, I need Grambling to go down here and give the type of performance that they did in this tournament, the never say die attitude that they had in this tournament in that regional, and make some noise in this regional. And wouldn't it be nice if we could pick up a game, even if it's in the elimination bracket, if the SWAC could pick up a game in the regional? So that's comment number 2. Yeah. And then comment number 3, I don't know if everybody is aware of this. Coach Carlos James looks like he has departed from UAPB after the article that came out a couple of weeks ago. I'm not surprised by this move because that article, the comments he made in that article, looked like a person who was on his way out the door, either by choice or not by choice. So this does not surprise me. And I'm curious to see where he's going to land, because his Facebook post said he was not done. He was not retiring. He was just moving on. I got a good idea, but I'm not going to do street committee barbershop talk here on the lab. So.
There you go. and to your point, back to point 2, AD, we've seen it happen before. We've seen Southern get a win in the region. We've seen Jackson State get a win against University of Louisiana. We saw Texas Southern upset Rice. So, anything can happen when you're talking about this type setting. So we'll see what Grambling can do down there. One of the, I guess, final pieces of something is always very interesting to me to watch athletes who are at the very end. And that's always a very emotional moment. I think I'm going to always take away with that finality piece of a player playing their last game. And for whatever reason, it strikes me a little different with regards to baseball, because so much downtime is spent with your teammates. Had a unique opportunity to see a player, he came up to me and said, I've been playing this game since I was 6 years old, and that was the last one. And that always struck me. And he talked about all the downtime that you spend with your teammates, the rolling of the tarp, the taking care of the field. Baseball is a little unique in that you have all these chores outside of what you already do.
You got to wash the dishes before you can go out and play.
Yeah, I mean, there are so many chores that come along with putting the uniform on, but that wave of emotion sort of hit him and hit his teammates as he was talking a bit about that. So I did want to make mention of it. Shout out to these athletes who put it on display year in, year out, and they get to that final game. There is always a wave of emotion that sort of hits them during that final out or that final basket or that final tackle or that final touchdown that sort of washes over. So keep that in mind, fans who are keeping up with these college athletes, that, you know, they lay it out there on the line for the name on the front of the jersey. So I'm always appreciative of that. Well, with that, we'll call it another night inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Symone, thank you so much for popping in, providing your insight. AD Drew, always a great job. And guys, you know how we close this thing out. I'll start things off. Course.
Lecture. Say dismiss, Symone. Say dismiss.
See, when you sent me that text, Charles, I thought you meant to send that text to somebody else. I was like, what are you talking about? I was like, he must have had the wrong number.
Good night, everybody. Thank you.